It didn't hurt anything. Good morning, everyone. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Jared, would you like to give the invocation?
Dear God in heaven, I thank you for the example of Jesus Christ in so many ways. He was full of grace and truth. And these folks today are going to wrestle with a lot of issues, a lot of different things. They're going to have to balance out grace and truth. And I pray that they can find the right balance in every circumstance to do all that they can to model fully the grace and truth of Christ. In Jesus' name.
Thanks, Jim. Make a motion, we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion, we approve the claims in the amount of $112,778.79.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I make a motion, we approve these add and abates number 2024-272, 2024-273, 2024-274, and the amount of a refund of $29.26.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
It's actually an ad, not a
Oh,
refund.
okay. Sorry about that. It's an ad
Okay.
of $29.26. Sorry about that. That's my motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda?
I don't.
Danielle?
In addition to discussing the register of deeds request for longevity, the treasurer would also like to be added to that same request for longevity.
That should be treasurer. Okay.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion. We approve the agenda with the new changes.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. AMR?
Hey, good morning. Dawn Brooks with AMR. I have the AMR report for the past week, so July 27th through August 3rd. Blue Mound had 5 calls, 1 transport. Centerville had 2 calls, 0 transports. Lacine, 18 calls, 9 transports. Fontana, 1 call, 1 transport. Linn Valley, 6 calls, 4 transports. Mound City, 12 calls, 5 transports. Pleasanton, 3 calls, 2 transports. Total of 47 calls and 22 transports this week. Anything else?
Thank you, Dawn.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You want to read the sheriff's report?
Yep.
Jason?
Sheriff's report for August 4th, 2025. Total prisoners of 60, 18 releases this past week. Prisoners in of 59. Total farmed out 1, total farmed in of 35. No, total 911 calls of 96. Jail contacts 4,551. Total calls for service of 574. Civil service papers served of 21. VIN inspections 10. New cases open 30. Cases closed 6. Vehicle crashes 10. 0 SRO activities. Bailiff contacts 125 with 51 resulting in calls for service and 2 livestock out.
Thanks, Jason. Health department is not here, but they sent a report.
Yep.
You see it? Did you?
Yes, I did. I don't have any
Don't have any questions?
questions.
Okay.
Looks like they had another busy month.
Okay. Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hegwald, Linn County Emergency Management and Rural Fire. This week's call totals, we had 11 total calls, brings our yearly total up to 383. That's still above average for call totals this time of year. 2 weeks ago, we had the LAPC meeting here in Mound City in the annex. We'd been averaging 6 to 7 people having those attendees having those meetings of the evening. Our meeting was very well attended. We had 35 show up for that, different businesses, utility companies, and everybody that would basically be needed during an emergency. So that was very well attended. Compared that to some of the bigger counties that I attend many meetings with, we had a lot of people at that meeting. So I think we'll continue to have those during the day where we're getting that much attendance and participation out of it. Fire crews were busy this week with calls. We're also helping with fire standby down at the fair. We'll continue that this week. On Thursday, we'll be down spraying kids from 2 to 4 o'clock during Kids Day. So I encourage the residents to come out and bring their kids out and let them play in the water. I'd received a request from the city, a verbal request from the city of Pleasanton this morning to use some bunker gear. This is different from their previous request. What they'd requested before was to use gear that was already assigned to people that are on both departments. What they are now requesting is to get some gear out of our surplus that we use to outfit new firefighters. They have taken the steps to order gear. Ordering gear does take, it could be 2-3 months before they get that gear in. So they are taking the steps to get that gear in, but they asked that they could get 3 sets of gear. Then that would be helmet, boots, Nomex gloves, and pants and coats. This is gear that is in surplus right now. They said they would do a written formal request and then also spell out the liabilities where, hey, if they damage it, anything like that, that they'd be responsible for that. So I informed them I'd bring it to the commissioners this morning, see what the commissioners thought of doing that.
So the liability will be on them too, since it's our equipment, but it's a liability for them.
Yeah, and they said they was good with putting that in writing.
Okay.
If you guys want to look.
And this is stuff that's just extra that we have just sitting.
Yeah, it's stuff that we've ordered and people have left the department and we put it back in surplus. It's the stuff that we use when we put a new person on to get them out there training, make sure they like it before we order them new gear.
There's a
So,
10-year shelf life on this stuff that once it's 10 years old, it's no longer.
yeah, per NFPA, anything after 10 years, we don't use it. So,
Okay. I don't have an issue with it.
okay. I'll have them get something in writing.
Draft something. Yeah.
Yep. So that is all I have unless you guys have questions on anything.
I don't.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Planning, zoning, Ben?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ben Souza, Planning and Zoning Director. Here to talk about the amendment addition to the current zoning code that we have. This was going to go into section 16. It'll be 16.411. It will read a radio, cellular, television broadcast towers and or station, microwave transmitter and or receiver tower and or stations or any tower or other similar structure 100 feet or more in height, either publicly or privately owned, provided the location of every tower must such that is at least 110% of the height from all property lines. Basically, just that if it's under 100 feet, they could put it in agricultural land. If it's over 100 feet, they're going to need a cup. Is basically what we're asking, and that the setback is the 110% from any property lines. With the staff report, having communication towers falls in line with the comprehensive plan. The installation of towers will enhance cellular services or other communication device in the area, so there is a gain to public health, safety, and welfare. Staff does recommend approval of administrative addition, or amendment addition. Like I said, it did pass the zoning board earlier last month. It was 6-0. Yes.
Commissioners, Allison's joining us via phone call for this conversation.
Okay.
And also there is state statutes talking about towers. There's a lot that goes into it with state statutes. Basically, that the more or less of it is that there needs to be more cell towers in areas where we don't have communication, where communication's bad. And it pretty much reflects what the comprehensive plan says, is that we need to serve the people of Linn County with better communication. And that's majority it.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
Do we need to open it up? Let
That's what was brought up
people want to talk about this.
a couple weeks ago. Yes, that
I think we should.
give people the opportunity to express their
Get
concerns
5
about
minutes
it.
like we did last week.
Is that okay? Yep.
We'll open it up for public comment on the cell tower, the tower issue. You want to step forward, state your name.
I'm Marge Wake, and I live in Tanglewood. I've written or called all of you, all the commissioners in the past on the People's Telecom Tower location. But it isn't just about their tower anymore because of this regulation that Ben was going over detailing. Just want to say there's been a lot of missteps over the last several months. I think this kind of began back in February or March. And there's been a lot of confusion and miscommunication on this whole issue. As Ben was talking about, this regulation is stated for towers 100 feet or more in height. And only, I guess, applies to, like, telecom tower is 80 feet, I believe. So by omission, I guess it's applying to towers less than that. That just doesn't seem like the proper way to handle it, really. That, you know, that you're kind of, you know, maybe handling it case by case. If a tower is less than 100 feet, it just seems like it needs to be spelled out to avoid any misunderstanding or leaving it open to interpretation.
So is that a misprint in there? 100 feet or more? Ben, can you pause the timer? Shouldn't it be 100 feet or less? Because 100 feet or more still requires a cup. Under section 16-411.
So it's not a misprint. Well,
I mean, shouldn't
it's
it be?
for, yeah, it's how you interpret it. It could be spelled out a little differently. We could reword this to be more plain out. This is what it is. It's code writing for regulations is very, it follows the same verbiage as the rest of the code, basically.
Okay.
Is why it's written this way, is why we came up with it this way.
But this portion of this resolution is for 100 foot or less, right?
This is
You
this is for the 100 feet or more. Yeah. So the 100 feet or less does apply to the 110% still.
okay?
Yeah, I understand the wording is when you bring that to my attention that it is confusing.
Okay.
It take, I mean, I'm just trying to understand.
Yep,
If it's
I
over
understand.
100 feet, we have to have a fence.
100 feet, yes.
But with this resolution here, we're allowing you to sign off on
Yes.
100 feet or less.
Yes. Well, 99.9 feet. If it's 100 foot, then it would still need a cup.
To a cup. But if
Yes.
it's less than 100 feet.
Yes. If it's less than 100 feet,
You-
then yes,
as
I
long as
can,
it's 110%
as long as it,
height.
and it meets the property line and the zoning regulation too. That they can't just put it in a lake community, because it will, yeah, or residential. It can go in residential. And then this also just applies to agriculture. So if they had a commercial zoned, it would still be different too.
Okay,
Or industrial, it'd still be different. Need the cup.
okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Would it please the commission if I quickly change this to said up to 100 feet instead of 100 feet or more? Does that sound like what it needs to say?
It does to me.
Does to me too.
I don't.
It applies to this situation.
Yes.
How does that affect our, I mean, because this is what passed planning and zoning. So I'm not sure that we can,
That we can do anything about it until it goes back to planning and zoning.
That is my understanding, is that when I bring it to you, then we discuss it. And if it needs to go back to the zoning board,
revisions.
I can do that. And then we meet.
So this
Tuesday.
was developed by the lawyer, by,
This was developed by one of the board members.
okay. Based off of our existing regulations and our past regulations that were in place before we adopted the new ones.
And
Yes, that's my understanding.
75 feet Before.
And yes, it was 75 feet before, and now we're just bringing it up to meet the rest of the surrounding county codes.
Okay.
Is that majority of the surrounding area has the 100-foot
Does
regulation?
that answer your question? I mean,
It still, to me, it's not clear.
Okay.
Because this was written for 100 feet or more. And okay, now it sounds like you're going to change it to apply to,
We can't change it.
well, you'll have plan and zoning change it to be less than 100 feet. Is that what you're saying?
100 feet or less. Yep.
100 feet or less?
less than 100 feet.
Yeah.
And I don't know the whole article or whatever, I just know
Right.
statute or whatever you want to call it, that this would be a part of. You know, this isn't saying, to me, it doesn't say you require a cup in any of that statement there. I guess, again, that's applied, or this is part of a larger
Less than 100
statute,
feet will not require.
not required. And so
100
that's,
Feet or more will require a cup.
okay.
Wasn't that the plan, Ben? I mean, that,
Yes, yes, and other areas too. If it's outside the cultural,
right.
then yes, it will require.
Is there a way to put all that in there? So it's, to me, it ought to be very clear of what all comes into effect in this and what you have to consider. I was a technical writer, so in the past, so that's why I like things very spelled out, and it seems like an important document like a county regulation ought to be very clear, so you're not unsure and have to make calls to find out, how it applies to your situation.
Right.
But if I want to continue on,
Go ahead.
additionally to that, it's not taken into account being erected close to homes or recreation areas like Tanglewood is. This is saying 110% of the height, which is from a property line, which isn't much. But additionally, it ought to say, I consider that being close to, I mean, there's other cities and states that recognize the health issues that have been documented over decades, studied and documented, how they affect people, plants, and animals. And many cities have made restrictions they can't be installed to a minimum of 1,500 feet from from a residential or recreational area because of that. So I'm asking you today to not approve this regulation as written. And now you said you're going to push it back anyway, but to have that added in there. I mean, maybe there are other counties in Kansas that have this, but I think you have a opportunity today to consider, to make better protecting citizens in the environment by adding that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else
Yes, just like,
For the tower only.
for the tower?
So I just had a question. Would this new change make it so that less than 100 feet would require a cup?
no.
Okay, I would like to see that done.
Can you please state your name?
Sorry, my name is Sky Ferris. I'm going to just go ahead and read my spiel. I am here today to respectfully ask that the proposed addition to the zoning regs be denied because it does not adequately address towers that are less than 100 feet tall, and I strongly believe it needs to. The previous regulations specifically addressed towers that were 75 feet or taller, but now with People's Telecommunication proposing to install an 80-foot tower, the threshold is being changed from 75 feet to 100 feet. This seems like a loophole designed to avoid proper oversight and community input. It's very convenient that this proposed change to the regulations will now state 100 feet, especially as it allows for towers of 80 feet to be installed without a cup, bypassing important community input. While I understand we live in a world full of technology, cell phones, and Wi-Fi, and many of those devices emit radiation, there's one major difference here, and that's my choice. I can choose to turn off my cell phone, my router, or even my microwave. And I make daily choices that help to protect my family by limiting their exposure. Towers that are close to our homes remove that choice. They run constantly, day and night, and those of us living nearby have no control over it. There is extensive research showing the harmful effects of electromagnetic radiation emitted by these towers, which can increase the risk of cancer, disrupt sleep, and cause other health problems in humans and animals. We need regulations that protect our community's health, not ones that make it easier for companies to install towers close to homes without proper oversight. I urge you to reconsider this change and ensure that all towers, regardless of height, are subject to appropriate review and community input. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm trying to figure out a little bit more about the situation, but I would echo
State your name, please.
Paul Griffith. I would echo what she's saying. One of the things I moved down here to get away from a lot of that stuff. We're showered in enough frequencies as it is, and one of the, talking about better communications for the fire department, police department. T-Mobile has a link with Starlink satellites that you can get hooked up with, the systems that are already in place that doesn't shower the people in more frequencies for better communications, for stuff like that, And another thing is government by the people for the people is a choice of the people for these things. If the people want it, well then so be it. But too often we have a couple people in a committee vote on this and not the people of the actual community. It's kind of like NASCAR, where they got, you got 4 or 5 people voting on something for 1 million people. How about you ask the people what they want? The people come in and they vote as a popular vote, what they want in their communities. Instead of 2 or 3 or 7 people, whatever's on this board, say what the 1 million people are going to get. And that's not really government by the people for the people, in my opinion. And I think that's what we need to move towards. You also got to ask yourself, It's going from 75 to 100. Why? Cue bono, who benefits? Who wants this and why do they want this? You know, what do the people benefit? Are the people really getting better communications? Are they gaining? What are the people gaining? What is the company gaining? Who benefits from this? Who don't benefit? What are the negative effects? A lot of negative effects from microwave frequencies that the people don't need anymore. You know, I would say leave it up to the people, let the people vote. Another thing, Monday morning, 9 o'clock, it's like, how many people even know this is going on? I just happened to see it on a Facebook post. You know, how many people can even make it here at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning to voice their opinion? Government by the people, for the people, not a few for the all, or the few for the many, making decisions for the many. When a lot of people aren't even informed of what's going on. And if everyone in the community knew what was going on and everyone come and brought their voice, it'd probably look a lot different than it does right here, right now. That's my opinion. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am Jennifer Lee Charlo from People's Telecommunications, and he is correct in the fact of it needs to be what people want. And if that is what you need, I had multiple calls this week as I voiced to Danielle of people wanting to be here today in support of this. And I said, we are not going to make a public expo of this. That's not what this is about. It's what they're voting on today was something that was put into place when Darren was still here, and these regulations were in the process of being changed then. These are things that had nothing to do with, Peoples didn't even have a thought in the world that we were doing a tower then. This was all the regulations that didn't get in when the first planning and zoning book, the new book, was generated. So that change was being made. So the misinformation there is this is not being changed for Peoples. This was in the process of being changed prior to Peoples. Secondly, I live by a 5G tower next to me, right across the road. As I sat on my back deck and watched the deer, every night, 10 of them show up and lay down in our yard. So do I feel it affects the animals that run about? I do not. Secondly, you want to take a poll of Tanglewood? We can do that. How this all came about was the fact of people from Tanglewood wanted more speed. We could not give that to them over the network that we have now, which is copper. We cannot bury fiber out there because of the cost of burying fiber. We talk about the effects of these towers and what they do. Okay, if it was so bad, why would, in Linn County right now, why would we let in a recreational area at the Linn County Fair where we have more people that come to Linn County for no other reason than this fair, in the middle of those fairgrounds, we have a 100-foot tower erected, sitting there for signal. Now, if there was so much that was going to cause a problem with the effects of people, why would that ever have happened? Now, they asked that they did not want that in Tanglewood. And the people that I've talked to, any person so far that has had a problem, I had 3 calls last week that had questions about the tower. I said, you can come into my office. I will let you talk to anyone that you would like to. I will sit down with you face to face. I took the time. I sat down. After the whole situation was explained to them, they totally misunderstood the whole operation because of Facebook and false information given out by other people other than us. And they were like, you know what? I get it now. That's not what we're about. So that is not at all what we thought it was. So I feel like I have been extremely patient in this whole process. I feel like I have done everything that I know to do to make this operation work. I feel like, okay, that something was brought up. You need a CUP. I completed my CUP. I went ahead and did that. 7 times I was told I didn't need a CUP. The 8th time I was told I needed a CUP. I went ahead and did the CUP. I went ahead and paid the CUP. I'm not sure if you guys would take a look about how many towers are in this county, you would be dumbfounded about how many. Just within a half a mile section, we have 6 towers right off 169. So if people want to talk about an 80-foot tower, that is not even going to be 5G, going to be 3G, and the only reason we're doing it is because that is what Tanglewood wanted. They wanted more speed. So if you guys want me to contact Tanglewood and tell the people that are contacting me to show up, I will for sure tell them, show up. But this isn't something to make a spectacle of. So you have 2 people or 3 people show up, that's fine, but that's because I kept all the other ones away. So if you have questions or anybody wants to sit down and talk about this, I am more than willing to sit down and talk about it. And if by any means you think this is going to be a money prospering project for us, I've got news for you, it's not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ben, would you care to speak to the process here? Was this something that was in effect? Is that your understanding?
Yes, when I started here, it was already coming around. The very first meeting that I was in, we discussed the verbiage and why it wasn't in there and how we were going to add it, where in the zoning regulations we wanted to add it and how we wanted to add it. And it was put out in public notice in the paper. I'm going to say probably about 2 months ago when we discussed it. I'm pretty sure it's been put out several times that we were going to discuss it, and we have discussed it several times since then. So moving forward with this, our next meeting is on the 12th, Tuesday night on the 12th, and then we will rewrite this to have a better verbiage and bring it back to you that next Monday.
So you won't have to follow the same
Well, with
withdrawal or timelines?
public hearing, yeah, I will. Yes,
Yeah, you will.
You're right. I will. So I'm gonna put it out in the paper, and then
So
I'll have that 20-day.
our issue is the reading of it, any tower or similar structure 100 feet or more in height, whether publicly or privately owned, provided the location of the tower is less than 110% of the height from all property lines. Because this, and is there, I agree that it's confusing.
It is confusing a little bit. If you read all of it, the whole section,
So can we read the whole section to show that this is not just that one part?
the whole chapter 16, the whole section 16.
In regards to the cell towers?
This is the only thing that has to do with the cell towers. It's just that the whole section basically states that it's in certain zoning.
Okay.
So if you,
But I mean, the 100 feet or more is where I guess
okay, yes,
where does it say that 100 feet or less?
it doesn't, no, it doesn't address that. Yeah, I was talking about the zoning and everything else, but this is, yes. So my plan is to bring this back before the zoning board and then clean up this verbiage that we address that anything that's 100 foot or more will require a cup.
Okay.
Anything less than 100 feet will not require.
Do you want that verbiage in there?
I do.
Okay.
I think it makes sense to have it in there.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. My position on the amendment, which is the only thing we're talking about today, is just the amendment as it was presented. And my opinion on that is I still believe we should have a conditional use permit. And that's where I stand on that. So I think if you take into consideration probably where both of you guys live, you wouldn't want a tower 100 feet from your property without a voice. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't go or it would go, but I would still want to have an opinion and present it to the commission with a conditional use permit. And so I don't agree with sending it back for the amendment changes that I feel like you guys are talking about right now without a conditional use permit being presented in front of planning and zoning and the commission. I like it the way it is.
So you want it as a conditional use permit no matter what kind of tower it is, what you're saying, Ally?
Jim, is your microphone?
I do, yes.
Mine's off again.
Which is the way it's written now, correct?
That it's hard to understand her.
Okay. So
that
she's asking how it is at this very moment.
at this very moment, anyone that wants to do a tower, a communication tower, will need a cup. Will need a permit for it, no matter what size, where they want it.
Okay. That's the way I thought it was written, and I am fine with the way it's written. I don't see a need for amendment change.
So it's not written in the zoning code. So if that's
Well, it's not written in the planning and zoning right now. So if you want to add everything you're adding today, that amendment, plus the requirement of the conditional use permit, I'm okay with that.
She wants, I believe what she's saying is she wants the regulation to stay. Any communication tower would need a conditional use permit.
Any conditional use, any tower will need a conditional use permit.
Is that correct, Allison?
Correct. So my understanding, I guess, of what Ben just said was that there is nothing written in the regulations as it stands because we forgot to add that, I guess. And so he's wanting to add this amendment, which I'm okay with that, but I want to add the conditional use permit requirement on top of the amendment change.
She's saying that she agrees to hear more about an amendment, but she wants the stipulation to stay the same, that any communication tower would require a cup.
okay.
So we can just, if that's the case, it just state that we take the 100 feet out, then right, and all the communication towers would require a conditional use permit? Is what she's saying?
Yes, that's my understanding. Is that she would like any tower to have the cup, and if
Any
that's
communication tower.
any communication, and we can do that. I can just put that into the regular, so that way, moving forward, that when somebody wants to put one up, they know that that is a requirement. Because right now, there's really not a requirement in the zoning code.
I just don't think it's fair to the people that live in agricultural or countryside homes that we would have to have a tower put up in our backyard, front yard without our knowing what was being installed and what was going to be 100 to less than 100, possibly 50 feet from our home. Because it depends on the height of the tower, correct?
So that will mean.
So if there was a 50 feet, like if there was a tower that was 50 feet tall, it could be 50 feet next to my home or property line. I don't think without a conditional use permit, I don't think that that's fair to the citizens that live there that want to voice their opinion on why they think it's harmful for their family to live next to a cell phone tower. And back to the fairgrounds, I actually saw that this week when I came to the demo derby, and I'm going to address that as well. I think it all needs to be addressed, honestly.
No, it's Allison.
Allison.
Sorry, this is Allison Hightower, the commissioner.
Allison Hamilton.
So well, if we do this, does that mean that like a private individual cannot put any kind of tire up either? It's gonna take a conditional use permit for all tires.
That will, yes.
Okay,
There is in the
So-
code that if someone wants to put a tower attached to their chimney, I don't exactly know the exact height of it, but if someone wanted to do a personal tower attached to the chimney or something like that, there is regulation for that, but it can only exceed a certain for residential use, for personal use.
That's in there already.
That is in there, yes. That's also in the section 16. But if someone wanted a personal tower that is, I think it's like, they just wanted to put up a 50-foot tower for whatever reason, they would need to have a permit for it. And then in this case, if we wanted to proceed with having a cup, then they would need to have a cup for their tower, unless we were to have it to where individuals could have their own tower at certain height. Like, we can rewrite this however we want. We just need to. We just need to hone in. Yes, but if individual had to have their tower, then they would still put off radiation to their neighbors. There's a lot to it.
For clarification, do you believe we ought to send it back and let them look at the whole regulation?
I think so. I'm not sure about, I mean, I understand what Allie's saying in regards to the cup and stuff that way, but I mean, that's not how it was designed or what they brought to us today, you know? So.
But the way it's written right now, it's.
Well, the amendment that was brought to us today, I'm stating I don't agree with it at all. I think we should have a conditional use permit.
Okay.
So if I were to make a motion, it would be that I would not want to approve the amendment change. That's where I stand on it. So I guess if you guys have a different opinion, then you can make a motion.
She's saying she doesn't want the amendment changed, is what she's saying. Correct, Allie?
Correct.
Okay. I think we should send it back for further review.
That's the way I feel too, with the 100 feet, the way it states in there. I think it's a little confusing as far as.
So okay, so if, as it states currently, people's would have to have a cup, why wouldn't we just allow them, even while we're doing this, to go ahead and go forward with their cup?
I don't have a problem with that. Jennifer's already submitted the cup. I feel like the cups, this has been such a long drawn out process for her. She could have, but the planning and zoning and Ben, I thought, decided to reverse it. And then to me, it just felt really confusing to the citizens. And so the last meeting, I wanted to address that with a letter of what the planning and zoning decided to do. I mean, these are decisions that are being made that don't have anything necessarily to do with the commission until it's coming to our table. And so open line of communication, I felt, was needed. And it does feel, even though it may not have intentionally wanted to be presented the way it is, it does feel like we're making an amendment to satisfy people's. And I know that that's not how it is. It's just, that's the way it looks, that's the way it feels. So I would be okay with her proceeding with the conditional use permit. In the meantime, we're working on the amendment change with planning and zoning.
Okay. I think that's
I'm
how it
good with
should.
that. You continue with your conditional use permit the way it states right now, and then let's look into this further. If we could choose to change our amendment, that I think that's what we should do too.
I think so too. And I think everyone that Jennifer wanted to speak, they need to have that opportunity to do that in Tanglewood. And we need to hear from everyone. And unfortunately, in this situation, I just felt like it's been a little yucky and a lot of misinformation and a lot of miscommunication, and she doesn't deserve that as a company, and I think we need to address everything and make it really clear.
I didn't hear it all either.
Danielle, did you understand what she said?
Allie, can you state that one more time, because we couldn't understand or hear that?
I don't know what I said exactly. I was just saying everything that you've gone through, it does make it feel like we're making an amendment change for peoples, and that's the way it looks, but that's not the way it really started at all. It was before I was in. It was back when Darren was here. We've been trying to get this amendment change, but unfortunately, in the meantime, it's just made it look a certain way to the public, and I would like to just move forward with the conditional use permit and have everyone that you just stated at the podium that had comments and that were in support of this, they deserve an opportunity to speak as well on your behalf. And I would like to see that.
So, a committee?
No, the conditional use permit.
Okay.
Well, I think we ought to just continue with the process with the conditional use permit for you, and
Okay, so we've done the conditional.
up to the podium, would you please?
Okay, Jennifer Lee Charlo, People's Telecommunications. So we've completed the conditional use permit
Application.
application. It was listed in the paper for,
It'll have to be relisted in the paper,
so we'll list it in the paper a second time.
correct?
Okay, then they're gonna send letters out. a third
Correct.
time,
Correct?
And then.
Correctly this time.
correctly this time. And then we'll need, and so at that point, so I understand it correctly, we do this, we have this, then the planning and zoning makes a decision, then planning and zoning submits that to you,
Correct?
and then you decide whether you accept it or do not accept it.
Correct.
So if we list it today, so we're looking at, we would be,
My zoning, planning and zoning website.
so 20 days, if he contacts and lists it today, that would make, Danielle, when would that make the hearing?
Probably the September planning and
It
zoning.
would be the September. I'm looking at trying to pull up the codes and make sure that we're right. If we need to go back and have that 20 days or not. We're looking to make sure that correct, that if the commissioners can change the verbiage or not, or if you want to or not, or if, since I've already had the public hearing, if I need to keep having a public hearing every time I want to amend the proposal.
See, that's what I was told, is that because that already happened, you didn't need to go back.
Where's my?
Okay.
That they have the power to change that. Just like they have the power to
Yeah,
accept or deny.
I would be okay if Ben took the week to figure out all the details and all the legal issues with that. But I'm okay with making a decision. However, I think he needs to work out all the legal side before we make a vote today.
We need to run it past our attorney to verify what.
Okay.
Sorry, the hiccup here is that our prior planning and zoning director has been sending me emails letting me know what the rules are, and we're asking Ben to verify. Does it need to be decided in this meeting if it needs to have another public hearing? Or can we just say sending it back to planning and zoning is, the committee is what you're deciding?
I think that we can surely say that we're sending it back to planning and zoning as far as the article revision, and that we're asking for Peoples to be allowed to proceed with a cup.
With the conditional use permit, yeah.
And if that's not right, then we'll deal with it next
That's what
week.
I thought. Okay. So, yep, that's what I thought. So the cup I will have to do a public hearing for the cup.
Yeah.
So we did the public hearing before, and then we were just going to, I guess, the end of that meeting was we're going to bring this 100-foot amendment to you and see if that, try to pass that. So then we would need the cup. So the cup was never actually approved. So then we'll have to do the amendment or the public hearing for the cup. If we're right about changing the wording for this, then it doesn't have to go back, and I can bring this to the zoning board, and then we can rewrite this and then bring it back to you that following Monday. Because we've already had a public hearing, so we've already had input from the public about this.
Okay,
And so that's basically what I'm understanding from the code is that we've already had public hearings. We've already had input from the public, and now it's just up to us to interpret what they want and put it into verbiage for the zoning regulations.
okay.
I understand what you're saying, Ben, but if you remember at that meeting, when everyone showed up to speak, both of the ladies that spoke today, I believe, were there and were asked to sit down. So no one was able to give public comment at the last meeting because it was a very confusing meeting. So they didn't give comments. They sat back, they stood at the podium, and they sat back down.
So during that zoning meeting, we were letting people know that the current discussion was about amending, adding to the current zoning regulations.
Correct.
That's what we were talking about. And that if someone wanted to talk about power zoning regulations that they were invited to, we just weren't talking about
A specific.
the People Powers Cup.
I'm sorry. I thought I just heard you say that you wouldn't need to do another public hearing because you've already had one. Did you not say that?
We had a public hearing about the zoning regulation, yes.
Okay. I knew that. But we have not had one on People's Communications Tower, correct?
Correct.
Correct. So that's
Okay.
what we're saying, that if we were to proceed with that individual cup, the People's Power Cup.
Okay.
We have to redo a public hearing, give the 20 days, and then it would fall into next month's zoning board
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. I understand.
Okay. All right. So
That's-
going back to planning and zoning, we need a motion. No?
I believe so.
To send it back, I'd say.
Okay.
I believe so.
We got consensus.
Okay. We're sending it back to planning and zoning. We're asking that People's Telecom proceed with their cup so that they can either get their tower in or not get their tower in based on the hearing and everything that way.
So that's your motion?
She said we don't need a motion.
You don't need
I
it?
don't believe you need a
Okay.
motion.
I can keep the same resolution number.
Yes, you can keep
Okay.
your resolution number.
Yes,
Sure.
Ken, we could get just a little bit, come if you'd like to.
Just Marjorie, just wanted to say that, you know, it's about the distance that the tower location, and I appreciate that Peoples did not, for whatever reasons, dropped the idea of putting it right inside the table. But this location, this new location, is only, it's like 300 feet or less from a lot of homes.
You will,
lots.
you will have your ability to talk about that at the
Okay.
cup.
Yeah.
I just didn't know whether, planning and zoning additional regulation, additional verbiage, or if that would be the.
When the conditional use permit hearing, you'll be able to talk about that there.
Okay,
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 all right.
thank you, Marge.
thank you.
Okay,
You have anything else? I don't have. Thank you.
Allison, did you have anything else for planning and zoning?
No, I don't have anything else. Thank you, Ben.
Pub Works?
Allison, did you want to stay on the line?
I'm going to jump off and go back to YouTube because it's really hard for me to hear.
it's
Okay.
hard for us to hear you as well.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Jeff Golden, Public Works, sent out this last week's progress we did. One thing that I'd like to ask the commissioners, this morning Blue Mound City has approached us about possibly buying some culverts from us to go through their FEMA repairs that they have from last year. To see if that's something we can do, is sell them culverts at our cost of what we've been buying them. They didn't know how many they would need. They're looking at 12-inch culverts to replace over there, Blue Mountain City. So I just wanted to run it by you and see what you thought of that, where it's one entity to another.
What's that gonna do to our stock? Are we gonna, I mean, we order twice a year.
Yeah, we order twice a year. That he was gonna count and see how many he was gonna need. I think we could part with a few, but not a lot of them. So he was gonna go through, Russ was gonna go through and see about how many they were gonna need to do some of the repairs they needed to over there. I know there's some 12-inch culverts that we'd be okay with to part with on there. But
I think that's something, if we do it for one, we're gonna have to
Do it for all.
do it for all. If we do decide to do this, it's,
right.
and I don't know how we get into that as far as tax from one entity to another. It's, I know we don't.
As
pay
long
tax.
as they're all
Some of them-
non-tax,
Right.
it's gonna be fine from
Be
that
fine with
standpoint.
that.
So where we don't have their full order anyway,
I wonder if we could set it up to where we could, if we're gonna do this, to where we get set up to where, in our order, you guys could. And I mean.
so I don't have a problem with us doing that from the perspective if we were to, do that for Blue Mound. I think we should reach out to all the other cities
But keep it to the cities and not
Right.
the lake developments and
Correct.
everybody else, I think.
at this point because of the non-tax.
I think we should probably run that past our attorney just to make sure what we're doing there, but I don't have a problem with it if they could pay, when somehow when we get them. I mean,
So maybe we could look at putting together when would our next order be?
I imagine it'd be next year, probably midsummer.
And that's gonna be too late.
Getting started on FEMA repairs and don't know where we're at, just looking at that as an opportunity to save some money. That's what we'll for the paper, 25 cents a year. So
I don't have a problem with helping you out, but I think we need to get everybody on the same page as far as the cities to see that we're
What
giving.
if we looked at doing an order sooner for the cities? Just for the cities,
I think we could do that for sure.
Yeah,
to see if there's other issues in other cities and see if we can get a big enough request together to put together an order to try to use our buying power to help them out.
Okay.
That's what I would like to see.
Would you like to?
So not, and if we needed to add any on to ours, that's fine for us.
yeah, if we could use them to fulfill the order enough, to make it big enough to where we could get them.
Yeah. Okay.
But can we look into that?
Yep. We sure can.
Put something out to all cities and see
If they have any culvert requests?
You bet.
But it was brought to our attention that like Tanglewood and those ones, I don't think we can start doing that on entities like that myself. I think
With the taxes
Just keep it to the cities.
to the cities.
Yep. Okay.
at this point.
Okay.
What else?
I'd like to hire Tyson Freeman as a seasonal mower on the pay scale of 3D, which is 13.1238 an hour.
Can you give me that one more time?
3D, 13.1238.
Okay. Pending employment.
Pending employment, pre-employment,
Checks.
drug test, and physical.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we allow Public Works to hire Tyson Freeman, subject to his pre-employment checks at 3D 13.1238 as a seasonal mower.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Taryn Ogden, who's been our seasonal mower over in Blue Mound, has accepted a full-time position with the Fort Scott Fire Department. So we're losing him as a seasonal mower. So just so you're aware of that. I sent out the perimeter berm and channel construction for the landfill for our vertical expansion. These dates that are on there are tentative. We can adjust those. When I was talking to Tony Malini about this, what I've asked Tony to do is to get me a rough estimate of what this is going to cost to do this project due to the funds that we have available in our fund for the landfill before we put this out for bid. I just want to know what kind of money we're up against with contracting this out. So he's supposed to get back with me later this week and let me know when I find out. I'll reach out and let you guys know what we've come up with
Okay.
for that. On the courthouse roof, I'm just waiting for Al Gardner to get back with me. He did say he was going to send me their report and their findings on the courthouse roof. So when I get that from him, I will share that with you. Over here at the new Justice Center, I sent out the update on that. We're just waiting for, we had some miscommunication between Bill and with High Tech. They were able to get that resolved and we'll get that all straightened out. Over here at the appraisers building, we did get our mold issue taken care of. I've contacted Jason Weber to come and look at the ductwork over there to make sure that we're clean and good to go with that over there due to the little bit of mold issue we had in the bathroom. We should have that construction going back in, getting the bathroom put back together this week. They did move back in to the appraisers building. I told them it was fine. They could move back in there and start work again. So they have moved back in there to continue with their job. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot for you unless you have anything for me.
I don't.
We are starting the 900 road project this morning. We
Okay.
did some work Thursday and Friday out there. Hoping to get culvert set today and tomorrow. Start backfilling and compacting. So hopefully by the end of the week, we should have that project taken care of. We've got some good weather ahead of us. So
Like in service, maybe. Huh?
I hope so. I'm hoping by the end of the week. So we'll keep you updated on that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open up for public comment. Have any? I'll close public comment. Okay. Towing policy revision.
Yes, Commissioner, I put that in your SharePoint for you to review ahead of time. Commissioners, the sheriff and I got together and we compared our current policy with Bourbon County's policy. We pulled a few things that we liked from their policy, and then we beefed up our protection against potential litigation for us. We also reviewed the policy for going out of order from the rotation in the event there's a mass accident. We could call in everyone and going out of order instead of letting one person towing all the vehicles and taking more time. Those are just a few of the things that we changed in this one. We also made it very clear that people that are applying to be part of our towing rotation, in addition to people that are already with our towing rotation, read this revision and agree to its new changes. Did you have any questions about it?
Okay. I don't have any questions.
I don't have any. We need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 25-20, a revision to policy letter 2018-02 for our towing policy, and allow the chair to sign.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Move to the business with the treasurer and the register of deeds longevity request.
If you recall, when Register of Deeds Christy Schmitz came in, she announced her retirement and she asked for you to make a concession and please also approve her longevity. Currently, our handbook policy says that the commission will revisit how much the longevity is given per year, and what amount is given per year. Historically, it's been $25 per year of service, and it's a full year of service, January to December. Christy has served 20 years as an elected official in the Register of Deeds office. In addition to the Register of Deeds, Janet, our treasurer, has been an elected official for 8 years, and she's worked for the county for 37 years as a full-time employee. She is also asking that you kindly consider her request to give her longevity pay.
So it's at the $25 per year. The only deviance here from our policy is that they will not be employed as of the end of the year.
That is correct.
Is there something with the retirement though that we give them that money if they do retire anyway?
A retirement gift is a separate policy, and that says that retired individuals get $25 per year of service to the county. And that's a gift for retirement.
Okay.
So this would be doubling up in this case, or?
I mean, I suppose the loophole would be if you retired on December 31st, then you would absolutely get both.
You'd get both if you work the end of the year.
But because it's a deviation from the handbook, it would take a motion for the commissioners to approve.
Okay.
Just to be clear, Christie's longevity is $500. Janet's would be $925.
Like this year, we've had people retire and they did not ask for it, so they will not get it, right?
That's correct. We did have several retirees already this year and they have not asked.
Okay.
I suppose the difference would be that Christy and Janet are leaving in October and the other ones left sooner than, 10 months in.
Okay.
They did get their retirement gift.
The others.
The others, correct.
They had got their $25 for each year, just like we will give these, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
They've certainly done a great job in their capacities for the last 20 and 37 years. I think we should honor their request in this instance.
Well, if we do that, then I mean, we're gonna change the policy on them.
Just on this, I think this is, we take it on a case by case basis only. I'm not saying we change the policy. I'm saying that we award these ladies for their service.
I think we need to table it until we
Okay.
get back. To get all three commissioners to talk about it
Fine.
is what I'd like to do.
Tabled till next week.
Yes. Okay, grievance.
An employee that reports directly to the commissioners has filed a grievance against Allison Hamilton. She has sent the grievance directly to each of the commissioners individually. Because the process, according to our handbook, is that the department head directly above that individual filing the grievance tries to resolve the issue. The only time that the commission can talk about it is in open session.
Okay.
I explained to the
So-
individual, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jason.
Should we be conducting our own interviews before we have that discussion? Jim?
With individuals, is what you're saying?
Yes. Try to figure out, I mean, we have the grievance, we have the handbook.
We basically, that's one person's side of this right now, so.
Right. But we're not going to be able to talk with the other side,
No,
except for in public meeting. So I'm saying that we go ahead and meet with them individually outside of the commission here as far as our employees. And then ask for Ally's part in open session at a later date.
how long do we have for this?
The handbook says that the supervisor will attempt to resolve the issue within 8 working days.
And that's us, the supervisor.
That's correct. In the event that it's not resolved in 8 working days, then there is a committee that's formed, which again would be you.
So we got from the time of this, or from the time today?
The handbook states the day that the individual sent it to you.
So we don't have another meeting.
Within the 8 days.
Hmm.
Within the 8 days.
Right.
Unfortunately, the handbook doesn't address, this particular situation.
Mhm.
And in my HR capacity, the handbook doesn't even address HR being involved in this process. My involvement is to the extent of I'm secretary to the commissioners.
Mhm.
I have communicated with Jacqueline. Both of our intention is to honor the policy that's in the handbook.
What would you like to do, Jason, and wait till gather information and do it for next week?
That's what I would like to do.
Okay.
So I think we should both schedule our own
Right.
time so that we're doing it individually, gather our findings on that end, and go from there.
Okay. And we'll talk about it next Monday.
Okay.
Okay. I'm good with that. Does anybody else have anything else?
I don't.
I do not.
Good. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.